Hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog, a blog where I speak with a straight bat on the issues of the day. And this week I'm going to speak on Hathras and its political fallout. Now, long before Bulgari village in Hathras, there was Bisada village in Dadri, also in Uttar Pradesh. Exactly 5 years ago, in September 2015, a 50-year-old Muhammad Akhlaq was lynched to death for allegedly consuming and storing beef. The killers were all upper caste men who all eventually were let off on bail. The local MP, Mahesh Sharma, who was then a union minister, attended the funeral of one of the accused, where the body was draped in the tricolour. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath began the BJP's 2019 election campaign from this very village. Seated in the front row was again one of the accused. In his speech, Adityanath referred to the Akhlaq incident. Who does not know what has happened in Bisada? Everybody knows it. How shamefully the Samajwadi Party government tried to suppress it. As soon as our BJP government was formed, we got all the illegal slaughterhouses stopped in one go and ensured strict implementation. The sizable crowd, including the accused, clapped vociferously. Those facing serious criminal charges were effectively being explicitly endorsed by the Chief Minister of UP. There was not a word of regret at the lynching of Akhlaq. The BJP won the Greater Noida Lok Sabha seat, where Bisada is located, one of the 73 it swept across Uttar Pradesh. Like in Bisada, the sense of remorse is once again completely missing in Bulgari. Rather than empathizing with the family of the girl who was assaulted and died, the Chief Minister's office claims that there is a conspiracy to foment caste and communal violence in the state and has gone and filed multiple FIRs against unknown persons and even arrested various people claiming that they are part of a terror plot. The ex-BJP MLA of Hathras has organized a panchayat of the predominantly upper caste villagers to defend the men who are accused of assaulting the girl. A vicious social media campaign has been unleashed to question the version of the victim's family and engage in character assassination. The girl's dying declaration, where she claims to have been gang raped, is lost in the cacophony. If in Akhlaq's case, the investigation eventually was being centered around whether he had stored meat or whether it was beef in his fridge, here the nature of the assault is being put through the microscope. Should it really matter whether semen is found or not in the Hathras victim's body in a much delayed forensic report? Shouldn't the real issue be that a young defenseless girl has suffered a traumatic death with her body being cremated in undignified haste well past midnight and her family barricaded like caged animals with no dignity in life and death? Isn't that the real issue? Frankly, in both Bisada and Bulgari, the Yogi government in Uttar Pradesh has been shown up to be an insensitive, uncaring regime that has scant regard for human tragedy, but instead uses the brute power of the state machinery to willfully engage in what some believe could be a cover-up. And yet there is a crucial difference. Akhlaq was a Muslim, a community which has been systematically demonized in Yogi's UP, and whose social and political marginalization is part of a conscious majoritarian agenda. Which is why Adityanath's government could openly line up behind Akhlaq's killers without any compunction. In fact, any civil society or political campaign to seek justice for Akhlaq actually suited the BJP, because it only made it easier for the party to ensure a polarization on the ground and benefit electorally. Let me be honest today. The truth is, Muslim lives probably do not matter to the Yogi government, which is why an Akhlaq's killers will get away. Which is also why Dr. Kafil Khan, the Gorakhpur doctor who dared to raise his voice against the Yogi government, has spent months in jail or in hiding on specious charges. Which is why Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protesters in UP are randomly picked up and arrested under stringent provisions. While Muslim lives may not matter to the Yogi government in UP, Dalit votes do. Dalits may still struggle to socially challenge upper caste dominance in these hierarchical societies like Hathras. Many of them are still burdened by preordained caste occupations, pushed into being sanitation workers, for example, because that is seen as their karma in this unjust and unequal Hindu social order. And yet the truth is, Dalits are also getting a growing sense of political empowerment. The recent electoral supremacy of the BJP, especially in UP, has been driven by a cross-caste Hindutva appeal, one where Dalit support has been a vital factor. The Center for Developing Societies, CSDS 2019 post-poll study reveals that the BJP's vote share among Dalits rose by a striking 10%, from 24% to 34% in 5 years. The party dominated a majority of the reserved seats in North India. While Mayawati was locked into her traditional Jatav vote, the non-Jatav Dalits in particular voted for the BJP in sizable numbers. This includes the influential Valmiki subcaste to which the assaulted girl belongs. You can publicly stand with Akhlaq's killers without any sense of guilt. Backing the killers of the Bulgari girl is far more difficult. Moreover, remember, all the accused are Thakurs, a community which the Yogi government is alleged to have excessively patronized. That many of the Chief Minister's opponents are now choosing to refer to him by his original name of Ajay Singh Bisht is part of a calculated political strategy to remind the voter of the saffron-clad prelate's Thakur roots. The Thakurwad labeling is potentially politically suicidal in UP's complex caste matrix. The BJP's resurgence in the state has revolved around breaking its upper caste stereotype, which is why today a number of BJP Dalit MPs as well as the original OBC mascot Uma Bharti have been very critical of the Yogi government's handling of the Hathras assault. Underlying such criticism is the recognition that the BJP's upper caste Manuvadi image has allowed the Mayawatis and the Mulayams to mount counter challenges in the past. Which is why the Yogi government is frankly playing with fire if it acts with the familiar reckless impunity and denies justice to a Dalit family in the media glare. Where once a Mayawati and her Bahujan Samaj party would have filled the void, today there is a new generation of Dalit leaders who is emerging. Chandrasekhar Azad of the Bhim army, for example, may well be emerging as the champion of another bout of Dalit political assertion. That the Congress too is now seeking to revive itself in UP by using Priyanka Gandhi Vadra as their face is another reason for perhaps for the BJP to shake itself from its seeming complacency. The UP assembly elections are still more than a year away, and the BJP is still the most formidable election machine on the ground. But even well-oiled machines need to be handled with care and caution. Today you can make the Muslim the enemy and get away. But you cannot risk losing the Dalit vote. That's what the BJP must recognize. That regimes who thrive on fear and divide will eventually find that politics is subject sooner or later to the law of diminishing returns. As a postscript, the National Crime Records Bureau figures show that 10 Dalit women are raped every day. 88 women across the country every 24 hours. And I sometimes wonder, would a girl who was sexually assaulted in a remote village, let's say in Jharkhand or Chhattisgarh, get the same visibility and a campaign for justice as Hathras? The fact that many national channels are located in Noida and UP and Hathras is 200 kilometers away is an inescapable reality that has come to haunt the Yogi government. Think about it. That's the straight path.